Yeah, let's cover housing first, and then we'll go over like the bank stuff because I think both of those might kind of connect to that. Um, let's actually do the bank one first because I think that'll connect more to like the issue. I had issues at the bank too. When I first went in, they refused to give me a debit card. I still don't have a debit card. I only have a cash card, which you can only use at ATM. And
Yeah, sounds about
their
right.
reasoning for me not having a debit card was because I didn't speak English, Japanese, and they didn't have a Japanese person working in that department. And it was a small like bank for just Okinawa. So I have this cash card. They won't give me the debit card, and it took them like 2 hours. With like America, in any language, you want to set up a bank account, it's way faster than that.
Yeah.
So, like, just be aware that those are issues. Also, because of the language barrier, I got denied from multiple car insurance. Uh,
Yeah.
speaking, and if you're coming from a lot of the Western worlds, like you could sue a company for that in America. Like you can't do that. But here, they can totally discriminate based uh, pretty much anything. But for here, it's mostly if you don't speak Japanese, there is some difficulty getting things done that way.
Yep. Yeah. When I went to set up my bank account, um, it was it was a bit of a hassle, but um, we did it like a local bank, and um, it took a long time to like get the paperwork all finished. I remember I had to like we had gotten through the application quite a ways, and then they had me write my name, um, and so I just wrote my name, my first, middle, last, and then they're like, "Oh, no, 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 your last name has to be first. Like you have to put your family name first." So then I was like, "Okay," so I put my family name first, and I was like, and they were like, "No, no, 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 okay." So like they had to like throw out the first application, and then they were like, "Oh no, no, sorry, they all have to be capital letters."
Oh,
So
Ah,
we
yes.
had to throw out the second application,
Yep.
and then I had to fill in my last name, first name, middle name, all capital, and like it took several it took several tries to like get this application done just because I had my name in the wrong order and like with the wrong letters. Like,
that right. I was asking, did you have any issues uh, setting up the bank because you speak pretty good Japanese?
Oh man, my speaking skills will fail me when it comes to like that technical and that official stuff. Like the bank and the Rakuten trip, that was the same day, and I did not understand a word. Like that day was basically, as I describe it, that was me just getting carted around by my supervisor like a doll.
Yeah.
Like show up, just like sits me down next to it, and I just sit there like this while they do all the talking, and I'm like, I have no idea what they are saying right now. Like basically they talk for like 10, 15, 30 minutes straight, and then here comes some papers and then more explanation. And then, oh, do you have your Hanko stamp? I was like, yes, okay, cool. Where do you want me to stamp this thing? Right here. Okay, cool. And then more conversation with them. I'm like, yep, I could be signing my life away and I don't know it.
Really?
But I didn't have any issues. There was definitely some kind of like group like cooperation needed trying to figure out the US tax forms. I'm like, oh, I didn't think I'm going to be looking at a 1099 here. Okay. Oh, write your name exactly as it is in the passport. Okay, here comes the all capital letters again. And
It,
yeah,
definitely.
but no issues. I don't have a debit card. I have a cash card. That sucks. But um yeah, no issues setting it up. That was like a 1 day ordeal.
Elizabeth, you're smiling.
I do have a debit
Go for it.
card.
Of course you do.
But I had to apply for it on my own. My bank was set up with the Board of Education. I was just there were 3 of us that arrived in Kyoto the same day, and they just had us all sitting in the lobby of the bank, and they were in the back of the bank setting up the accounts for us. They took our passports. They took our Hankos. They did it all for us. We were just sitting in the lobby, like talking about our trip. Basically, that was it.
They didn't even
And
put you
then
next to them. They just dropped you in the
no,
lobby.
they just did it everything for us, which I appreciate. Because I wasn't even gonna understand like sitting next to them anyway. But we got the cash card like 2 weeks later in the mail, and I was like, "This is the most annoying, useless card that ever existed."
The worst.
And some other ALTs had said that that I have JP Post, so the mail company as a bank, and they said that they had just rolled out a debit card as of COVID time because cashless payments were starting to be a norm in Japan. But the application was all online, all in Japanese. But I did it just through the browser, translating as you go somehow, and I got the debit card. A lot of people I know have tried to do this application and been denied because you need the phone number that you set up your bank with. But we didn't know what that number was because a lot of us didn't have phone numbers at the time, and it was the Board of Education's number. You had to go into your account later and change that number, but you can do it from an ATM, but not the English button on the ATM, only the Japanese button on the
Yes.
ATM.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, so, but I have a debit card, and yep, except, yeah, no, it works. It works.
Wow.
It works. It's great.
That's
It doesn't work on Uber Eats, though.
that's really yeah. I think a lot of the banking stuff is really difficult. Like if you want to transfer money back home, like overseas, it takes a lot of work. Like it's just a
Yeah,
big
I
process.
haven't ever tried that,
yeah.
but I have friends that have used TransferWise to transfer money. And apparently you can do it
I use
also at an
Wise.
ATM.
Yeah, you have to use Wise.
Yeah.
You have to use the ATM and Wise. That's the thing. Is like
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
plan the transfer on Wise, but because you can't like hook Japanese banks up to like PayPal or Wise or anything like that. Like they just don't hook up to those apps.
Yeah.
Like you have to use Wise. You have to plan a transfer to your U.S. account, and then you have to go to an ATM and then transfer to the Wise bank, which is like a Japanese bank. Like have a Japanese bank they transfer money to. So like and the transfer at the ATM has to be all in Japanese. Like they don't have an English option.
It doesn't give you the English option.
So you have to like know which buttons you're gonna push beforehand. It's kind of it's a hassle.
The first time is definitely like the scary time because you're like, oh my god, what if I send this money to like some random account, some gigantic chunk of money? That's never happened. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Like now it's like I don't need to worry about taking forever while a guy's waiting behind me to use the ATM. Like you just go to the ATM, do it real quickly, and you're done.
Yeah.
The first time I had my supervisor do it, and I recorded it so I could see which button to press for the next time. But I also found that there is a card that you can print. That's a Wise card. So like when you transfer. All right, can you guys hear? Oh, you can hear me. It's working now.
Yes.
All right, let me try and say it here so it's easier. All right, so this card allows you to quickly populate all the information for your Wise account. So when you put it in, it will automatically do all of the like difficult stuff you have to be doing in Japanese, and then all you have to do is type in the amount of money you want to send. It makes it a lot easier. So, and after you do it the first time, that's one of the options. It says like receipt plus card. And you hit that one and it sends out your little card and you just put it in every time and it becomes really easy.
No.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if you didn't need another for that?
It would be awesome. It would be awesome. Or if you could like do it online. I tried to get the debit card online, by the way, too, and it denied me because it says it knew I didn't speak Japanese. So yeah.
How did it know it's
I
not
feel like they
conform?
must have clicked something on the application or something, like they do. Oh,
Like, I don't speak Japanese.
I
Sorry.
told them, and I have absolutely no Japanese, so
you're different banks. Different banks.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Now that we've gone over the horror that can be the bank setup, your supervisor will be walking you through all of that.
Yeah.
So don't be too afraid by what we're saying. But what was your housing situations like?
Well, my situation was pretty easy. I just inherited the apartment from my predecessor. And it's a nice apartment. Actually, I got really lucky because it has a dryer. It has a washer and a dryer,
Wow.
which like almost no apartments in Japan have a dryer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I feel like I
just the washer.
that and they refurbished the apartment like a few years ago, so it's brand new, really nice. I feel like I got really lucky with my apartment.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. Ryan?
Yeah, so similarly, I just inherited this apartment. So for what it is, it's quite large. The ALTs in the local area, they all generally say like, especially the ones that knew my predecessor and have been here before, like, yeah, you have one of the larger apartments. I do not feel cramped at all. It's very spacious, especially for a single person. My predecessor lived here with his wife.
Oh.
And he said it was fine even in that case. Um, I inherited a lot of furniture. I have a couch. I have a bed. Uh, there's an air conditioner. There's a lot of other things that I just inherited. So no issues moving in. It was very easy. I have a washing machine. I don't have a dryer, but beyond that, no, everything was very easy to move into.
Same. No dryer, but I have a washing machine. It's my house is owned by the prefecture, so it's very much subsidized. I only pay like $115 American a month, which I think is like
Yeah,
14,000 or something. Yeah,
that's really good. Yeah.
yeah. It's a
What?
Oh yeah, the subsidy. Yeah.
So why don't you come to the mainland more if you're so rich?
because I came to Japan with credit card debt. Oh, so I'm not that rich.
Oh yeah, the rent. Yeah, I forgot to mention that it's supposed to be like 60,000 yen a month, but half of that is subsidized, so it's like 30,000 yen, which in my head is just roughly $300 a month, but in reality,
Like,
well, in yen, yeah, that's like $300 a month, but in dollars, that's like, I don't know, 250 a month.
dude, that's
Yeah,
really good.
I'm paying between like 50 to 60,000. Yeah. It depends. It depends on like how much I use the AC or the heater, summer and winter.
Oh, you're including utilities.
Yeah, you're including utilities.
Yeah, my bill is all together. So
Oh.
Ah,
Again, everything depends on your situation. Elizabeth,
Yeah.
can you guys see Elizabeth? Because I can't. I can see her.
I can see Elizabeth.
I can see her in the
She's fine to me this
producer
time.
video, but I can't on my phone. It's having weird shit. Elizabeth, tell us about
She's
your
there.
place.
I got an unfurnished brand new apartment, which was a lot to come into. I spent my first few nights on the floor. Literally on the floor.
Hey, it's
No
good for
furniture.
your back.
Yeah, sure. Not anything. They did provide me with appliances, so I had a refrigerator and a stove and an AC unit and bathtub and
Well, I hope it have a bathtub.
lights.
I hope
No,
it had
but
an air conditioning unit.
no bathtub. I had to pay extra to get those already set up in the apartment, like the lights and stuff. But I mean, I had no other option. I didn't know how to do any of those things on my own. So
Interesting.
So they're essentially leased to me with the apartment, the refrigerator and appliances.
Did you have to find your apartment on your own?
No, they found the apartment. A lot of ALTs live in this complex.
Oh, okay.
That building.
Yeah, but it's It's an interesting complex. It's essentially public housing in Kyoto. So there are a lot of foreigners here because you're allowed to rent without a cosigner.
Interesting. I did not know that.
That building.
Not necessarily young people.
I got there and like
There's some characters in the buildings.
That makes it great.
Your apartment seemed really nice when I was there.
It is, but I don't have a door code. Anyone can walk in the building.
But it's also Japan.
The bathroom window leads to a shared hallway.
That's true.
It's a little bizarre. But I like it. It's the most spacious apartment I've ever lived in my whole life.
That's the opposite of what
I'm coming from Paris and San Francisco, so shoe boxes. But it was a struggle. I didn't have furniture for months. I bought a mattress and that was it. I still only have a mattress on the floor in my bedroom. But furniture I've come into, I didn't purchase anything because I didn't want anything to tie me to the apartment. And I know how hard it is to leave somewhere and have to get rid of stuff. So I didn't want to buy anything or invest anything. But I did have to buy like full kitchen culinary stuff, which was annoying, but I had to. Thank God for Daiso.
Yeah, Daiso.
Daiso.
Yes, I would have. But all my furniture is from people that have moved out or the street.
You know, whatever.
Yeah,
works.
I remember you saying you hauled your bed up from the street.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no! My bed I bought on the internet.
I was about to say that's pretty extreme.
But I bought my bed from a fully Japanese site. Like all of it was in Japanese. I had absolutely no idea that if I was actually getting that bed.
There's this thrift store like in Maebashi, which is like an hour and a half away from me. But like I've been getting some stuff to like furnish my apartment with from there. So I got a TV. Really.
Oh, there's one of those in the hallway right now.
Oh really?
You're gonna haul a TV in?
Get it before it's gone.
I know. I was like, do I need a
before it's
TV?
done.
I've
Yes,
never
you
had a
do.
TV my whole life,
Yeah.
so no, I don't think I do.
Yeah. Well, I got one because I wanted to play the new Zelda on the TV.
See, I don't do that.
So
I don't think I need that TV.
I did inherit like this tiny TV from my predecessor. It's like this big. So I didn't want to use that. So and I got a table, I got a toaster oven from the store, but yeah.
I don't have a TV either, Elizabeth, so we're the same. I'm kind of jealous of you right now, Bryce. You went and got yourself a big TV. I kind of wish I had one.
It was really affordable.
There you
It
go.
was like,
Pick up one. It's free outside.
yeah, it
Hey.
was like $60.
If I didn't have to fly it back to Okinawa, if I could just put it on a train and it was cheaper than the price of the actual TV, I might be on the train right now.
TV is free. It's in the hallway with a sticker on it that says "No illegal dumping." So
I'm positive.
you're doing a public service.
Okay, well, since we all kind of talked about our apartment setups, it really is very individual. As you can see, all of us are pretty different. Mine's is owned by the prefecture. We had people taking it from the ALTs before. I also do know a couple ALTs who did have to find an apartment with their supervisor's help. And prices vary from mine. I actually have a 3-bedroom. My apartment's huge, and I think I have the cheapest one here. But it's old. And then, prices go up from there. So it really will all depend on where you are.
So I think going back to the fact that my office was like incredibly helpful when I first got here. So I have 2 supervisors. One of them is like the ALT supervisor. The other is like my my local supervisor who just like helps in my office for things. So I guess the duties were kind of divided, but both of them were just so friendly and like truly wanting to help me. So one of my supervisors spoke English, which was just like a godsend. So on the first day that I arrived to my city, they had me open up my bank account. They had me register as like a resident in this town. And those processes I was able to do with him because he spoke English. So he's able to explain things to me. setting up things like utilities, like it was a lot of like being on Google Translate and just like speaking. One person spoke into it, translated, spoke it back. But like those, I inherited my apartment from my predecessor. They had left like a couple of months before I got here because of COVID, but we were able to still like figure out like restart all of my utilities. Like things were very prepared for me when I got here, and I think I was very lucky with that because I know for many ALTs you're just like left alone to like here pay all of this money up front to get a car, to get your apartment, and then like furnish your apartment with basic appliances, right? Like I didn't really have to worry about those things, and I think I was super lucky in that way.
I always, when I hear the story of the ALTs who had to like get their own apartment and pay like the key deposit and the all these like it's like it's so much money. I'm not even gonna like all the random fees to start up is insane. It's one of the reasons like I told people when I was going to all the meetings with Jet, they were like, have like $3,000. I'm like, no, have more. That's a lie. If you have to start up with any
You
of
need
these,
more.
yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, luckily, I was similar. My apartment was my predecessors, but it's also owned by my school district, my prefecture, and so my rent here is I have a 3-bedroom for like $115 a month. So it's like
Wow, amazing.
it's a steal. But like most of my friends are paying like 300-400 American dollars and had to like a month, and then also had to pay like all these fees up front. It cost them almost $2,000 just to get into their house. Like insanity. But it also seems like I mean when I went to that bank the first time, I was with my supervisor. He spoke Japanese, and I was still having issues. So I'm happy you didn't seem to have any of those problems. Like, what about when you got like your phone plan? Did you have issues with that at all? And what is your phone plan? That's a common question.
So yeah. So I got mobile and I got it during orientation, like when I first arrived in Tokyo. So and then I just never switched because it was like an English provider. It really seemed like a hassle to try to switch. And I think a year later, so my first year in, I tried to switch to Rakuten. Um, and I just had a lot of issues. I think that was like my personal experience. I was basically told like, oh, you can't buy just the SIM card. You'd also have to get a Japanese phone. And I kept asking them why, and they were just like, it's just the policy. One of my friends, her cousin lives in Japan. She's Japanese. She also works for Rakuten, and she was like, that's bullshit. Like, that's not how this works. So it was just like me working with this one particular store. It was really difficult, and I just gave up because it didn't seem like worth the hassle. My internet is fine. I use my phone as a hotspot while I'm at school. I can't connect to the Wi-Fi, so I was like, this is enough. Like for me, I'm okay paying as much as I do. I think I pay like 4,500 yen a month for like 30 gigs. I'm like, this is plenty. Like honestly, I'm good. So
Okay.
it just wasn't worth it for me, and I feel like a lot of things just aren't. Like getting a credit card. Tried getting a credit card, wasn't worth it. I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, it's fine.
Yeah, no, credit cards like I can't get a debit card because I don't speak Japanese. A debit card, so I know I'm not getting a credit card. But your experience with the
I also don't have a debit card either. I just have like the bank card.
Yes. Okay, so it's not just me. All right. When I went in, they were like, "No, you have to speak Japanese to get the debit card because we don't have anyone who works at our bank in the debit card department who speaks English." And so the bank I'm with it's a Okinawan bank, which is also crazy because I'm like, of all the prefectures outside of maybe Tokyo, you have no, even including Tokyo, you probably have the most English speakers. How do you not have like an English speaking person at the bank? But I guess all the military people have their own bank. I don't know. But no, I mean, but you are not alone with Rakuten. Everyone I know who has gotten it has had issues. Either my friend Elizabeth, it was, oh, you don't speak Japanese, go to Y Mobile across the street. We don't want to deal with you. Or like my other friend went through the same situation that you did. So it's like Rakuten is a great like for the price and what you get, it's like so cheap for like unlimited gigs and everything, but it's a hassle for non-native speakers. I have Ahamo. It's 100 gigs for about 40 or 4,000 yen. But yeah, no, I definitely feel you on that.